now saying, oh, wow, that's that was actually fine. This says you're live.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we are.
It didn't do that. I had to jump through hoops.
Because that's what I was doing.
Wow.
You don't get it.
I'm jelly because I literally had to go through hoops. Y'all saw me struggle last time.
Yeah.
That was actually. So we know who will be going live next time.
Oh, yeah, we are.
I had to jump through hoops. Who needs
Oh,
to
there's
turn
a
off their
playback.
background?
You don't get it.
I'm jelly because I literally had to go echoing. Let me. I'm gonna make sure it's not me. Struggle last time.
Yeah.
So you know who will be going live next time?
Oh, yeah, we are.
Well, it's not me. So.
Oh, there's no playback. You don't get it. Not me either.
Okay. Sure, that's
It does not sound good.
If does someone have YouTube playing on another computer or device? Onyx is muted. I'm gonna mute myself and see if so that way we'll know where. I might be playing on another computer or device.
No, I don't hear it now.
Oh, it's me. I don't know what Onyx is muted. I'm gonna mute myself and see if so that way we'll know
let me try to.
No, I don't hear it now.
Okay. So, can you guys hear me still? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. I was just, you know.
It was totally me. But I fixed it, so we're good now.
Yay!
So I definitely wanted to talk about that.
Wait, you guys, you don't want to check in and see how I'm doing or anything?
Oh, I do. We should definitely all check in because.
Okay. I'm gonna keep this going on.
I know. I also have gum in my mouth, but I'm gonna leave it in for a little while.
Okay.
I just put it in there. So if I'm smacking, then I don't know why I'm smacking.
Well, and now I want to get my gum back.
Well, you already took it out, so.
Ellie, you look all elegant.
Before we check in, now that we're talking about gum. Yesterday, I went on a walk and I had my gum in my mouth, and I was like walking, but I wanted to drink some water, so I took my gum out my mouth and I set it on my hand. And I really wanted to keep the gum, but I wanted to drink my water, and I didn't want the flavor to go away. And so I took a drink of my water, and then my gum fell off my hand onto the floor, and I really contemplated picking my gum.
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, so that was my heartbreaking moment for yesterday. So now let's check in and see how Onyx is feeling.
Oh, no, I'm good. I was gonna say, what's the crazy bits going on with everyone else? I mean, for me right now, it's just like, instead of saying about me, I'm gonna tell you what's going on in the climate here. So everybody is up in arms here about the Meghan and Harry, their little Netflix thing. So like, whenever something like that happens, it's like it triggers people into this like racist, fanatic, where the country comes together. I want to say at the divide, because most of it's interesting. So the country comes together to like, it's almost like a sport on watching everybody attack them, and like kind of bet on when the royal family will attack back, because they think that they're just like watching and waiting for and devising a plan to like ruin them. But then you also get to like see the country be in an uproar about whether racism really happens to her or anyone else, and kind of downplay and gaslight everybody. And so it's an interesting time, like amongst everything else. And of course, you have all the new viruses that are now going to kill everybody. So it's just a very interesting time.
Yeah, speaking of new viruses, I was lucky enough to catch one, but
Which one did you get? Did you die from it?
I did yesterday. No. No, this one is it's just one that gives you this nice little rash all over your body. So I have this
Oh,
itchy,
all over. Interesting. I don't have a rash at
yeah.
all. But now, isn't it? Do you feel like when you have any normal, because like people get sick during the winter, but does it make you feel like, oh my God, am I dying? Have I just gotten this? You do? Hi.
Oh, no, Ella, we are going to check in with you guys.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So no, because I'm not crazy. I am.
Hey, I do.
I am crazy. I'm not gonna lie. So, but I'm not like paranoid, kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. But I did have. So I had this rash, but I thought it was just eczema because when I get stressed, I get a little bit. But this is like everywhere. It's up my neck, my chest, my arms, like everywhere, and it's very itchy. But my son also has a sore throat, and I called and I made a doctor's appointment for him to come in just to get a swab to make sure it wasn't strep throat. And so I made the doctor's appointment, and they said, okay, yeah, bring him in. And then an hour before his appointment, they told me that he needs to come in through the back door. And I said, excuse me, you want me to bring my son through the back door? I'm like, he's already going to be wearing a mask. And then they're like, yeah, well, we're going to separate him from everybody else. And that brought
Rage.
so much rage.
I'm the same rage because I know you, but it's like.
And I said, you know what? Just cancel the appointment.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I know for you, you would be like rage. But it's like, what I have a problem with is, what I have a problem with, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
It was upsetting because for me, it just brought back so much discrimination trauma. And I think people need to be really sensitive to that when you're telling someone to bring their child. To me, it brought in back of the bus, separation, segregation, Jim Crow. I don't care. And people can think, oh, you're just being extra sensitive. That is, yes, I'm sensitive to that. You're telling me to bring my son through a back door like he has leprosy. He has a sore throat and he has a mask on. You're already forcing people to put a mask on. Don't tell me, I'm not bringing my kid through the back door because
I'm just, and I'll yield to you in a second, y'all. But this is what I have an issue with. I honestly, given the hysteria of the people dying, children dying from strep A and all those other viruses, I would not have a problem with anyone taking those precautions. However, this is what I have a problem with. In the UK, they have the section, they section people off in the hospital. So you go through, and then they have this glass door room where all the people who have any potential transmittable disease, and they put them in there, but they leave the damn door open. So who the hell cares? Like, I mean, why are we even putting them in the area that's in quarantine if the door's open and they're all coughing their nasty lungs up? That's what I have a problem with.
I'll check in with Ella. Ella, how are you feeling?
You look lovely.
Thank you. I'm doing fine. I was just thinking about going on a walk and having this gnat fly into my eye and bit my eye. And it bit my eyeball, and then my whole little eyeball swelled up.
Oh my gosh.
Then as I was walking, I saw this guy that I was seeing kind of talking to, and I walked like straight past him, and he was with another chick, and it's like I couldn't say anything because I'm sitting there with like a fisheye. And it's like he didn't call me, like he calls me normally, and normally he probably would have called me and said, that was just a friend or whatever, but the fisheye probably made him not call me at all. So
Okay, was it a guy that you were dating or have dated or
Yeah,
interested in?
I had dated. We've gone on several dates before, but I stopped dating him when I had gotten back with my ex, and then yeah. So he had contacted me and expressed interest in starting to see me again, and then the fisheye thing happened. So yeah.
But then he saw that eye. He was like, ooh, maybe not.
Yeah, it was gross, and I was just like, why? Like, first off, when do flies just fly in your eye and bite your eyeball? Like, it literally bit my eyeball, and then my eyeball decided to swell up, and it was pink. Like, it was so gross looking, and it happened within like 30 minutes. By 30 minutes of after the bite, my eye was literally swollen with like a gooey pink film over it. It was so nasty.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it was gross.
But I feel like he could have texted me like, "Hey, saw you.
How's that eye doing? Like, how's that eye?
I hope you're okay. You look like you.
You look like you need some medical attention." Like, it was gross.
That's awkward.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna call him, obviously, and he's obviously not gonna call me. So
well, it sounds like he was on maybe a date or something anyway.
It looked like he was. She was a very pretty lady, and I just like smiled at them, and then I went to the bathroom.
I envisioned you smiling with your pink eye.
Right, and the thing about it is, me smiling made it more obvious that my eye was swollen.
Oh no, how embarrassing.
Like, if I hadn't smiled, it would have just been like, me, a little bit of pink. But when I smiled, it was like, why is your eye so big, though? Just that one. And I didn't even know that my eye had swelled up until after that. I went to the bathroom, and I was like, are you effing serious? Like, right now. So he was probably like, thank God I dodged that bullet. I just met this chick.
And she was deranged with
she didn't go take care of whatever that is that she got going with her face. And yeah, it was that.
Her eyes big with crust.
Right. Some oozing like pink.
Now
it was gross. It was so gross. Yeah. It only lasted a day. Like this, but it was so nasty. It was like my literal eyeball had like a pus sac on it.
Ew.
That's what it looked like, but it was like a pinkish.
Okay, but I don't really need that much detail.
It was nasty. It was really nasty. So yeah, that was my little thing.
He wasn't the one.
Come through the side door, but my little cute son with his eyes are using his eyes. He has his lovely eyes, and
I love him so much.
Trying to, if I had to explain to my son, oh, you need to go through the back door, that just would have made him feel different and sad, and
or possibly contagious.
No, that was very upsetting for me, and so I just didn't take him.
I say, you know what? This is how I'll do it. If you roll out a red carpet, put a red carpet at the back door, have like some of those little hors d'oeuvres just sitting on these things. Just make it feel special, because you're not gonna have my son just walking in through a back door, probably a trash can back there, because back doors don't be looking nice.
You could have just took him and said, "Oh, sure," and then just not, or "How dare you," and hung up and said, "No." Huh?
Like, I'll just tell the doctor that you're refusing to take him through the back door.
I would have showed up and literally coughed all in her face. And then said, just like the British do, but their mouth closed. You know how they close their mouths here? No offense to anyone who actually does, but most they don't. I would just went there and start enrolling him, and then just start hacking, coughing all over, and then it'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry.
You know who you're talking to, like
I'm so sorry. Sorry.
And I'm just like so offended.
See,
like you're. Because they push this whole theory that a mask protects you from everything, like you just really just need to wear this
mask. It's hand sanitizer. That hand sanitizer. Don't forget about that hand sanitizer.
Yeah, and it's like, well, he's gonna have a mask on, so why does he need to then go through the back door as well, just so you can look at his throat and tell me what he has? Like, that's all I'm asking you to do, and it's just like, it's just rude and
Deserves a good cough.
not a cough, but like, if I wouldn't even go in there coughing or trying to
I
get
would
one.
have.
Don't you wish you could just come out with a good gnat?
No, I would have been coughing all over.
Have it nice by your eye.
The front door is just a big door, and then there's some chairs. But you want him to walk through the back door? It's rude. It's just
Right.
giving really rude and discriminatory and just tacky. And I was just like,
y'all are giving stupid, like hella stupid right now.
yeah, I'm not sending my son through that. I'm not making my son feel awkward.
I honestly would have, and then I would have been like, honey, go to the back. I'm sorry, I would have.
So I'm glad we're all checked in, and I just feel like being like an advocate for your kid is very important. And I know some people would feel like, oh, but you didn't get him checked out. Like, yeah,
That's the next thing I was gonna say. It's like, but is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He had a sore throat a few weeks ago. I gave him, which I'm not for the vid testing, but I had some at home. And so when he first got sick, I did test him for that just in case, because I have some antivirals at home, because they won't give them that anyway. Doctor's office. So I would have given him that, but he I told him he wasn't pregnant. Because it looks just like him.
Isn't it? That's what I said.
And he didn't have strep throat last time, and he didn't have any symptoms of strep throat. So I was just like, I'll just let his body fight it out. So he's doing fine. He didn't have
taking his zinc and his vitamin C.
He's laying in bed eating Doritos, and I've been making smoothies. Yeah. He had all your smoothies that you left over. So
well, then you're gonna have to buy some more.
Of course. So yeah, he's doing good. So I think since we're talking about children, well, since I was, we can
talk about that 10-year-old.
Yeah, let's talk about that 10-year-old from Wisconsin, I think it is. So
give the deets.
Okay, so I had it up. Let me see if I can share the screen. I can share the screen, but I don't have. Okay, hold on.
Even if you could share a little bit of the audio, because that will work as well. Because it was just a news lady speaking about it. It's not like they were showing, or was she showing like where he was and all that?
That's what I have a problem with, though. It's a difficult one because I know from experience how media will spin a story and the facts of what they put out. Maybe, in some cases, maybe 10% of it will be true. So when I'm reading the bullet points that they have there, the 10-year-old, I can just, from what I read, a 10-year-old, shot his mom because she wouldn't buy him some computer device. So I forget what they're called, but anyways, there are things that are virtual reality glasses. I feel like that's an important right now. But what stood out was they said they first did not arrest him because he said he was swirling. He told police officers that he was swirling the gun with his finger and it essentially misfired. But then later he admitted allegedly to his aunt that he deliberately shot her at close range. and then the next day proceeded to buy what he wanted on Amazon for that game. Now, there's a little bit more details, but that's the part where they're saying, well, he intentionally, and then he later admitted this in a police report as well. So that's what the story that I read. So if I'm just going by those bullet points and taking that as fact, then my opinion about how this should be handled and how it's handled is much different to, oh yeah, and then he supposedly has, you know, according to other things I've read, had a history of mental health issues. And then other reports don't state that. But it's like, if I'm just going by what's written as fact, you know, my opinions are going to be, like I said, very different than they would be if those things aren't challenged.
Yeah. See, my problem with it is that this 10-year-old boy is being charged with homicide
as an adult.
But look, if you're going by the facts, if you're going, not facts, and that's the issue again. I don't know if it's factual that he actually, if he did go and, like they're writing,
he's still 10. He's not an adult, no matter what he did.
Well, look, when you're looking at crimes, you look at intent. If he actually went and thought about, well, I'm going to lie and tell this lie and make up the story that I'm twirling the gun and it accidentally done so I don't get in trouble, and then I'm later just going to go and I'm later going to go buy my gift because I don't have an appreciation for death.
Right.
Or I'm really sitting here masterminding this in my mind where I know I need to lie about it. And, you know, there's difference in how you would address that, because if you are somebody, and I don't care, this is where it gets to whether you look at, okay, I'm looking at this child, the child as a child, and I'm considering the safeguarding this child because of his age, versus this is a deadly criminal and we're going to just treat this person as a criminal because is a person who is going to kill other people, likely because of this his pathology. So I wouldn't be looking at this the same way. It really just depends on what the facts really are, and that's where I stand on it for the most part.
But okay, here's my thing. I'm looking at it from an early childhood educator perspective. This is a 10-year-old that has had a history of mental illness.
Has that been proven though? That's what I'm saying. Is this is this all facts that we're reading? Has it all been factual?
The only thing is the fact that he allegedly killed his mother. That's the only fact.
No. These are facts of the case. The facts of the case is he's had a therapist. At 4 years old, he showed signs of anger. They said his entire life he's been very angry. He's had anger outbursts of anger and aggression. He's shown anger towards humans, animals. At 4, he took a puppy, they said, and swung it around by his tail. A few months.
At 4?
That's what a kid does. Babies do that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. At 4, he swung a puppy around by his tail.
That was of course something that I looked at as well, because I'm like, at 4 you don't really
right. If you can pick up a puppy, like, and as a 4-year-old, that 4-year-old is not really, but then it's like,
when I was reading some other stuff on his case, they said a few months before this incident, he took a balloon and filled it up with some kind of lighter fluid and set it on fire in their home.
How old was he during that one?
Just a few months before this.
At 4?
At 10.
No, at 10.
Oh, at 10. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's a problem. See, that
They also said he had a lot of anger outbursts of anger and aggression his entire life. So this was a progression. He just previously started working with a therapist, just previous before this incident. Other people in his family said, okay, yes, we saw this was a problem. We really wish we'd have stepped in early. We saw this. We knew something like this was going to end up happening. Something bad like this was going to happen. So for his entire life, people have been looking at him saying, okay, you know, something's off. This kid's very angry. My first thing that comes to my mind is, where's this kid's father? Like,
Right.
like where's his dad? But who knows? Okay, so, but then it's like, yes,
what are his influences? Like, you're absolutely right, because it does warrant more looking in his background and who his influences are, and what like, how is he, like lighter fluid and balloons, like these are behaviors that are coming from somewhere. And also you look at supervision, like you had a 10-year-old doing this.
Right, and he definitely shouldn't have had access to a safe with the gun in it.
And lighter fluid, enough lighter fluid to go into a balloon. Like, really?
And if you saw this just 4 or 5 months ago, why would he have access to get your keys that has you know, the key to the safe with the gun? And I'm not in any way blaming this mom. In any way, it is absolutely not her fault, and she did not deserve this. But I'm saying we have to look at all of these red flags, because you can't just, this isn't the first 10-year-old that I saw just this week that I've toe tagged his mother. This is the first Black kid, but this is not even kind of the first 10-year-old. And also, I'm looking at the charge that they gave this kid, and I'm thinking all of the school toe taggings that have come along by children of no color have not got this harsh of charge, that have toe tagged multiple individuals that do not get this charge. This is a very, very serious charge, and this is not a 10-year-old child, and we're saying you're disposable, you cannot be fixed, we are not going to try to rehabilitate you, you're done at 10.
Right, his brain isn't even fully developed.
Not even kind of. This child has been in the world for 10 years, and yes, heinous crime, heinous. But this is the closest charge to a death sentence that you can get.
Well, and the thing that's really disturbing to me, is the fact that they are wanting, I guess, desiring to put him into a mental health facility until he's 18, and then after that, spend the rest of his life in prison.
That would be challenged for sure.
Seems insane.
I don't even know if that's what they're offering this child. That's what they offered the 10-year-old of no color. They gave him that I saw earlier. That child, because that's the only one that I would compare this to. There was another case where a 10-year-old boy took a 22 and off his mother, as she said, on the couch, slept on the couch, because she asked him to go gather some wood, and and the way they talked and treated this child was totally different. And he actually had 4 guns on his wall in his room. And the reason I'm upset about this case is not because I feel like this child is innocent and he shouldn't have, he shouldn't be treated like
he didn't have penalties. Yeah.
And he should have a penalty. Like, dude, this is your mother. You like toe tagged her because you couldn't get a virtual reality game. But there's so much more to this case than just let's take this 10-year-old boy and lock him up and then write it off and act like there's nothing more to it.
Right. There is, yeah, and what you're saying is there's a lot to be considered, and not only to be considered, but there's a lot of, it sounds like there's more people who should be held accountable for this happening, because had he had interventions, had he had proper, and I'm not going to say proper parenting because I won't,
Righty.
I'm not going to put it on, but what I mean is, like, if people were safeguarding his mental health, his, you know, guns,
Access to dangerous
having
materials.
access to guns, having access to that amount of lighter fluid. So I can see a kid, you know, getting the lighter, but enough lighter fluid to go into a balloon, you know. And if there were, if the people who were around him did observe and have concerns about him harming animals, like if they really thought that, well, this wasn't a kid playing with the dog and doing that, this was the kid maliciously handling, mistreating an animal, you know, there are people who should have been stepping in and saying, like, there's things that could have been done earlier on. And I think there are signs of some really severe dysfunction that was going on, and that's not just with the child, because for a child to exhibit some of these behaviors is like, and to go unnoticed, that is some neglectful behavior, and it does warrant looking at, you know, his environment and his background more than just saying he's 10 and a killer, he needs to go to jail. I do think he definitely needs to not be around people, and I do think jail time is warranted. I think what a lot of people who I've talked to about this are upset about the fact that, like you said, they are putting him with adults. And I think that one thing is should be made clear. There is a clear law and penalty for people of color, and law and penalties and handling of situations with people of no color. So you are seeing ruthless, look, this is, you committed this crime, and you know, we're going to safeguard the rest of the society from you, so we don't have to care about what you amount to. You did a crime, so you're going to go to jail with other criminals. We don't care. Would this be the same if he were a person of color? Of course he wouldn't be. Of course not. That's undisputable. But it's just at the same time, what does justice look like in a case where you have a mother who's lost her life? I really do feel like there needs to be some more, like, I feel like there's bullet points in there that do reshape, and I feel like it would have a bearing also on whatever penalties they're putting against him. And what I say is, you know, the change of, he knew, he told the officer this story. And then later admitted to this. And there is significance in that, because it tells you the intent and the maturity of the person, because a kid will just say what they did. They'll tell their aunt.
No, he's 10. He's not like a 4-year-old or a 2-year-old. He's 10. He knows that there's going to be a consequence, and with consequences, regardless to what level of consequence that he's going to be, he knows he's in trouble because the reaction of people around him. So he's going to know that he needs to self-preserve at any point when they're interacting with him because of it. So him being 10 and trying to lie in order to not get in trouble is not indicative of him being, you know, an evil person, or knowing that he was going to kill.
It separates you from having appreciation. It separates you from having appreciation of consequences to death. To say I have this person suffers mental health issues.
No, it doesn't. His frontal lobe is fully developed. He does not know the full depth of what he's doing. He does not know that the fact that she's gone, that since he toe tagged her, she's not going to come back. He does not know that. His brain isn't even developed enough to understand that concept. Everything that he watches on TV and the video games that he plays, they're toe tagged, and then they pop back
up. I don't think you can commit. Look, if that's the story where anybody would go with, that you can, a 10-year-old doesn't know if they shoot somebody, they're not.
I'm saying he doesn't have the ability to grasp the whole concept of it. No, he does not.
I say,
especially when there are parents that will get their their child a goldfish, and then when it passed, they give them another goldfish and say, you know, it's the same goldfish.
10? No.
If he is not a person
10.
that actually have dealt with that in his life, then yes, he would not have a concept of what it is. No, I don't think that a 10-year-old has the full grasp of concept of someone being toe tagged and never going to be seen again. I don't think
I have to agree with that one, because I think that you guys don't understand. I have studied
I've studied child psychology as well, and you can't convince me a 10-year-old doesn't know that if they shoot somebody, they're and then I only study child psychology, but if I'm around children all the time. So
I'm saying he doesn't understand.
If someone is teaching him otherwise, I think you can certainly teach him, like brainwash him to believe that, just like you can brainwash kids to believe in Santa Claus. But if a child is observing the reality around them, like a 10-year-old doesn't know that they shoot somebody.
What reality would he have around him where there's always
a 10-year-old? I have an 8-year-old, and I can assure you with certainty he'd know if he shot somebody. Like there's no that person would be gone.
Maybe you should have that conversation, because you might find out differently if you actually converse with him.
Okay, I sure will, because I guarantee I have a lot of conversations with him, and that's what I'm saying. I say with certainty. Like it's just a no. At 10, no. I mean, I'm not gonna say like the benchmark for all kids is that, because obviously, you know, a lot depends on how a child is brought up, what their environment is, how they're educated. It doesn't sound like he had the best upbringing, and it doesn't sound like he was being
well, there has been a number of children because of WWF doing those moves on their actual siblings and toe tagging them. The response was going to be the same as what they've been watching on TV.
So this is what I'm saying, because there's two different things at play here. You have someone who would be very calculated.
He's 10. How calculated did he?
I'm telling you, you would be very calculated for a 10-year-old. What is being said in these bullet points here is showing either someone is very calculated to say to the police, this happened, and then change. And I don't even know if he even changed the story. I don't know if the aunt didn't realize what really happened and just say that, because that's she wants someone, she knows this child enough to know that happened, and she wants some justice for it. I don't know if he actually told his aunt, hey, I actually did this so it's contradictory. You see what I mean? In the first statement, they're saying he told the police that he was twirling the gun and it accidentally went off. And then the next day, it said that he told his aunt that he actually shot her close range. So he's telling his aunt, which is her sister, that no, I actually intended to do this to her. So you're either talking to someone who's extremely manipulative and calculated, or it's not adding up, or he didn't really tell that to his aunt. So that's what I'm saying. Either one, I don't believe that both of those things happen. Because why is he going to tell the police? If you're saying he knows he's going to get in trouble, so
right,
he's going to tell the police, a story to protect himself from getting in trouble. When he could have an accident, because I did it. But then I'm going to tell someone else.
Right. That would take a really crappy character. Right.
Yeah. Right.
Because then it's like he's intentionally telling his aunt something to hurt her. And then it's like,
but also like you said, he also is saying something that's going to get him in trouble. You can't convince me that an 8-year-old or 10-year-old or whatever is going to admit to something to that degree. Because kids will lie to get that's one thing that you're right about. They will lie to get themselves out of trouble. They will lie in your face. So for him to say, I'm going to tell the truth about something at a day in, believe me, he knows the measure of the consequences he could have faced if he'd done this. He knows, right. He sees his aunt crying. He sees other people crying. He knows the severity at day 2 of what he done. So if he's gonna lie, he's gonna put on the good lie at that point. That's when it's gonna be like, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm gonna stick to my thing. I'm not gonna tell the truth because I've done this. This is
Right,
big.
but then at that
He's
point,
gonna be
he's
like,
gonna
oh,
be like,
I'm
yeah, I know how
now,
bad it is.
yeah,
Yeah, I know
now,
how bad it is now.
not only did I do it, I did it at close range.
Right.
No.
And I know for sure how bad it is now.
Right.
But this is what really had happened.
Right. So it don't, and that's why I said what's being said in the media probably isn't the full truth. So and it's hard to go to look at this situation and read what's being put out and then make sense of it and then take everything that's fact. And then say, well, that, you know, this makes sense. So he should, if he's this cold, callous, and calculated, he shouldn't be with, you know, I don't see how there would at 10 and he's this calculating, cold-hearted and killing his mom. No, he doesn't need to be in the regular population. No.
And then kind of bragging about it to his aunt.
And yeah, we can pretty much be assured that this person is a dangerous menace and is going to kill other people as well. And it doesn't take much. All he has to do is not get his game. So
I mean, he's probably going to kill people in prison.
Right, that's what I was saying, because you're not dealing with a regular type of person. If you're going to be calculated, be like, I just killed my mom, but now I'm going to tell the police this story that I just accidentally did it, and then describe a different action that I know is plausible. You know, that it, and then, you know, the next day I'm bold and I'm cold and callous because the people around me are definitely going to be mourning. And I'm going to tell you, this is what I did.
Right.
That's not a person who's,
that's not what happened. No. He
well, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying what happened.
That isn't. That's
not
what
it. Okay, I'm gonna read you what I have because that's exactly what they said. Let me pull up because what this is not what I got. This is what I got.
He wasn't just like walking around saying, "Oh, guess what? I really just went down to the basement." The second story that he told was that he asked when his aunt and grandma went to talk to him. He said, okay, well, actually, I went downstairs and my mom was doing laundry and I got into the shooter's pose and I shot at her, but I was trying to shoot the wall to scare her.
So that's a different story than what's been.
That's the second story. Yeah, that was the second story.
So that's what I'm saying. There's a problem with trusting what's put in media because if you have 4 or 5 different versions of what happened, then how are you going to trust what happened?
Sentence. So because you're not letting me finish my sentence, you keep cutting me off, and it's frustrating. When you're interrogating a 10-year-old, obviously it's not. It's how hard is it to get a 10-year-old to get more out of a 10-year-old? Like when I was a 10-year-old, if I was going to get in trouble, obviously I'm going to lie too because I don't want to get in trouble. But if adults that are trained to interrogate, like the aunt and the mom, the aunt and the grandma isn't trained to interrogate, but they're going to get more out of him than the first story that he told when he first did it. So obviously they're going to be like, well, this doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't even understand how the first police thought that made sense. You can't twirl a gun and then shoot it. That's not, if anyone's ever shot a gun, it's hard pressed to twirl it around and then shoot it. That's very, really, that really happened? Okay, that doesn't make any sense. So that was the police just being too trifling to get their actual story out. They didn't care. They didn't even want to investigate at that point. So then he talks to the aunt and the grandma. They talked to him about it because of an incident that was happening at the house. His behavior and the fact that he wasn't crying, there was no grieving. His only thing that he was thinking about was ordering his VR.
He was concerned when it was going to get there.
Yeah, when it was going to get there.
Does it say anything about the boy's father being involved in his life?
No.
Have you read anything about that? I'm just asking.
And I had 2 points that I wanted to make on that one. Okay. But then the other thing that I wanted to talk about, then so after he tells them that, the grandma calls the investigator back. He was interrogated again. So imagine being a 10-year-old being interrogated by professional investigators. Obviously, they're going to get it out of a 10-year-old, the truth, because they get it out of adults. So it's not like he was just like, oh, well, I want to tell the truth. No, he wants to protect himself. When I was 10, no. Even right now, if I'm going to get in trouble for something and I lie about it, then that lie is my truth.
Right.
Why would I tell you? No. So it's not, I don't think it's about, oh, he's just this master manipulator, calculated. No, he doesn't want to get in trouble. Why would he want to get in trouble? Who wants to get in trouble for something they did? And then I feel like there's so many different aspects to this where we would just want to blame kids and say, oh, all these kids are just turning to devils now. No, there's this whole social media thing and virtual reality thing where we're blurring reality for little children and then thinking there isn't going to be any consequences to it. When you have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds sitting on video games and playing in virtual reality where there's this distortion between reality and play and pretend, and then don't think there's going to be any consequences for it. There is. And
I don't look, I don't go, I'm not, I can't, like that may be true, like what you're saying, there are consequences. I don't see that that's what's happening here in this situation, but I will say that, if what you're, like this other additional information that you're saying.
That's my point that I was saying.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't want to forget what you said on that one to make my point on that, but go
Why don't you
ahead.
write it down?
No, I don't want to.
So I think if people think that they're just gonna keep, like, you just keep taking kids and then you throw them in prison and then maybe one day you let them back out and think you're gonna have some normal society, no, that's not gonna. If you might as well just give that kid a death sentence.
And they'd be happy doing that. I think if that was on the table and people would be able to go for it, they would definitely ask for that to be included.
It makes more sense. Because we keep blurring reality. We're just doing it more and more and more and more. We have what Zuckerberg is coming out with even more of he wants to blur reality even more. So how are kids going to determine what's reality and what's not? While we're saying, oh, they should know when somebody dies that's finality.
But I don't feel like that's an issue at all. And the thing for me, I think my issue is that
one more statement, because I have to take a lot of notes because you guys weren't letting me talk. And then in none of these interviews or in any of nowhere in this situation were there any men. There's no uncles, there's no grandpa, there's no father, there's nothing. Where's the men? Where's the dad? There's a grandma, but there's no grandpa. There's an auntie, but there's no uncle. Where's the men?
Yeah.
Men, where are you? Where?
And where's the accountability here?
There's somewhere blaming a woman in food stamps for their absenteeism.
I do feel like that's an issue right there that should be, like, when you look at responsibility and accountability, there should be an abandonment charge if that father isn't in the lives. There should be child abandonment, because you can put a connection to mental health issues and child abandonment. You can say his quality of life would be different if he had a responsible father in his life. You can make those arguments, but I think for me the issue is that number one, there's too many inconsistencies in terms of the stories. You might say, yeah, they got more information from just talking to him. That's not. I need some consistency in terms of what actually happened. I can't come to a decision on something if there's too much flip-flopping and how things happened. But I do like to live in facts, and the fact is that he murdered somebody. And yeah, his background in terms of his age and everything should certainly be considered. But at the end of the day, he killed somebody, and he doesn't have responsible parents or people who are going to look after him in a way that's going to prevent him from killing other people.
A responsible human being.
Huh?
And mold him into a responsible human being.
There's nobody there. There's no one doing that.
And the timer business. Right. And that is no MIA as usual.
Right. And when you talk about, I lost my train of thought, but there isn't anyone to do that. And so there's just a reason to believe that, okay, you want a dangerous criminal, because that's what it would be, out to go and, kill other people. And you aren't in a situation where there is going to be an even playing field. If people were white, there would be difference. Yeah, well, maybe. And that's true. And more than likely it would be. I mean, and when you say, well, he should be given mental health, prisons they benefit from him being in prison. Like, the government actually benefits from him spending time in prison. That actually does benefit them. But when you put him in a mental health, that doesn't benefit them. It doesn't. It doesn't benefit them as much. So why would they do that? And so I look at, well, what's right and what's reality. The reality is you do have a very troubled, dysfunctional, and problematic human being who has killed someone, who has his morale has become so depraved that he's okay with killing his mom. And then you have no you can blame his upbringing. You can accredit some of that to his upbringing, his lack of father in his life. And I do seriously think that there should be like laws where that child abandonment, they should be looking after it. Just like if a parent knows that their child is having these problematic issues and they want to go shoot up schools and stuff, there should be some consequence to the parent as well. Likewise, if you abandon your child and they become depraved and harm other people, you should be held accountable. And it's just unfortunate that something like this has happened. But the reality is, it's like he killed his mom. Like, that's
I was gonna say,
ridiculous.
like, because you said that he wanted to toe tag her, and I was like, how you?
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like,
it does matter, actually. If he wanted to, but also we don't know that he wanted to or not. What we do know is, okay, so we can't say that you haven't, or I haven't, or anyone haven't done something and then later on regretted it. We done something out of anger, out of frustration, and then regretted it.
Taking a life is not just doing something out of anger.
Yeah, of course I'm not talking. We haven't taken anyone's lives because we don't do that out of anger. But I have on so many levels have done something that could have actually taken someone's life out of anger and regretted it so much.
I've never done that.
I mean, maybe you haven't. I have.
Never.
I've done some.
You've been a loose cannon, but I'm.
Yeah,
but
I had anger management issues, so I've definitely done some things that was very violent and had it happened a little bit, hit in the right direction. I've thrown a knife at someone, so like if it hit in the right spot, then that person's life could have been taken. And obviously I regret that, and I would have been mortified if I actually had taken the life, but I'm still gonna lie and say I didn't do it if the police come to take me.
But how old were you when that happened?
And then what was that?
Oh, never mind, go ahead.
But we did see that they did say that his focus seemed to be more on his video games arrival rather than his mother's death. And I don't know if that was just him trying to distract himself or he just genuinely didn't care.
No, that's just like serious mental problems is what that is. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there is serious signs of like these are serious mental issues. I mean, the thing is, and let me just stop you right, and before I say that, there is a way to distract a child from showing emotions, heightened emotions after a traumatic event. And but it's hard to even assume that was traumatic for him, because I just, and I'm saying this because, and I really strongly feel like I just don't have enough facts, and it bothers me to know when, like, I don't even like talking about this because I don't know, like, the things that they're placed in their article doesn't make sense to me. And so I don't even like, and the thing that bothers me is, like, I know how media spins things, and like that could be 10% true. If I didn't know that, like how literally people lie after lie after lie, and it makes no sense that they will lie in situations like this. So many people will lie in situations like this. So I don't even know if the story that I'm reading is actually really what happened and the way it happened. I do know somebody is dead, and I do know that there's a 10-year-old boy. I don't know what actually transpired, and I don't trust everything I read.
If I didn't see that they treated people of no color that just
Well, that's always going to be the case. You live in a racist society.
full of Black people better than they treat this 10-year-old, then it wouldn't bother me so much. So I just see that there's a difference in treatment. The child was 10 and he he did something horrible. The fact that he toe tagged someone isn't what bothers me. The fact that he toe tagged his mother is what bothers me. So, but if anyone doesn't, if no one has anything else to say about this one,
I do. I will go back to say again, to reiterate, somebody needs to, and it bothers me that this is not part of the story. Like, where is the father? Like, where is the accountability here? Did he shoot his father too, and then he's just in the backyard dead somewhere?
This man is.
Or did he just say, I'm not interested, so I didn't raise him, so it ain't on me. So he didn't get those behaviors from me because I didn't raise him. I wasn't even there when it happened.
Legislation changed, and I think we need to look into that, because men do need to be held accountable. If you are not in your child's life and you're not raising your child, everything that they do you need to be charged for. And I don't care if you didn't get a paternity test. If you didn't get a paternity test, then that's even worse. You need to be charged even more. Because if you impregnate someone and that equals a kid, then that's on you. That child's your responsibility. Because you didn't raise them, that's even more. And then that he should be in prison with that child.
Yeah, especially when you look they do child. They're running from. No, I agree. It's like they're running from child support. What about like bereavement support now? It's like there's a woman whose life has been taken.
Yeah,
because you didn't even bother to raise your child properly. You just said, well, I'm not. Like, and then he just gets to live his life freely while she had to endure so much trauma, and God only knows what happened during her pregnancy that caused the boy to be the way he is. But she has to endure all that, and then she's the one buried. And it's like, well,
I'll be right back, because I think FedEx brought me something.
Oh yeah, they're at the door.
They're knocking on the door.
Now I'm going to be super curious about what it is. Hurry and go. Scurry
Tell
out.
them to bring me something too. I like stuff.
I'm actually expecting things, and they're late. Like, I haven't gotten any of my stuff from. Oh, it's not.
Look at that picture of V. Smith.
Oh, she's cute. Okay.
Right? That's funny, because that's so not her. I wonder what the next topic, Yellen. I thought we were going to talk about relationships. We definitely need to end this with something a little more light and frothy, because that was so a Debbie Downer. Yeah, that was not a happy subject by any means.
No, I mean, it's reality, and it's becoming more and more of a reality, and it is some. I mean,
you're right. I just had like a couple weeks ago, a boy went up to my son's school and shot a different boy 7 times. So yeah,
right, and it's like that's. And in situations like that, this is what I'm gonna go back to what bothers me. I mean, obviously, there's a lot going on with teens and youth these days where it's just like it's very disheartening that nobody's checking in with them to see where they're at.
Wait, but he went to juvenile. He was 14. The boy he shot dead was 17, and they took him to juvenile, and he was a person of no color.
Right. So I'm never going to be surprised that there's an injustice system for people of color in a justice system where there's sympathy and as we're looking at how to rehabilitate this person. I'm never going to be surprised at that. So that's not shocking at all. Like it really isn't. I would be shocked if you said something other than that. But it bothers me because even in that situation, that the school identified what was going on in that person's life, where he came to the school and took out another person. Like, are we getting to the bottom of like how does one's mental capacity and emotional regulatory capacity deteriorates that much to where nobody notices until another person is dead? Like,
Right.
Because I was following that story. That kid's life was not dragged through the mud. His family's life was not dragged through the mud. His any childhood traumas or anything, no.
Oh, they had pictures. They didn't show a single picture of these kids.
His life was kept very private.
They did show, however, a picture of the black boy he shot dead.
Yeah.
So they can say, you understand.
Pretty much.
Right. This is what had happened.
No, it wasn't a big deal.
I mean, apparently they didn't think so because the following week the same week they had a play posted on the billboard called Arsenic and Tea. Yeah. They didn't think that it was necessary to take that down because it would have been insensitive.
Oh, somebody asked, did they say how he got the gun, the 14-year-old?
No, they didn't, but I'm pretty sure he got it from his parents. He was a person of color. They have so many of them. And his parents actually blamed it on moving there. And the people that he was hanging out with, they said it was the riffraff that he was hanging out with.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's quite a bit of people of color.
See, and I strongly feel like even with that statement alone, they should have been arrested for that statement, because that's intent right there. Because in his mind, he could have been cleaning up the riffraff.
Right.
So it's like people do need to be held to account, and it is a parenting issue, and I say that because when you have dysfunction and it's not addressed, and it doesn't necessarily have to be at home level, it could be at school level. It can be at school level dysfunction, and that could be simply this kid not getting any kind of chastising. He's okay, just like he's in juvenile after taking someone's life. It could be he doesn't have anyone in his life to give him proper positive discipline and teach him what's if you do this, there's a consequence. It's kind of like what B is always telling me: if you don't give early consequences, people won't be able to appreciate what their actions have warranted. And he obviously not only had no appreciation for it, but his parents just said, this is what I consider, the people that you hang around. And he clearly hung around that kid. And what society just told him that what you did was okay. These people were just bothering you. And their life didn't amount to get rid of and his life didn't amount to you having jail time.
Next time, just put some arsenic in their tea. Less messy.
What?
And next time, just put some arsenic in their tea. It's a lot less messy.
Oh, Sandy said that he stalked her around the house with it and followed her into the basement with it. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, so that's crazy. Like, that is a psychopath lunatic. And like,
well, if she was putting the laundry still in the laundry, apparently she didn't see him stalking her. He wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, or he wasn't like stalking her like that, obviously, because who's gonna continue to put clothes in the laundry if he's doing this?
She didn't say he stalked her around the house.
My thing is, he was doing it as a game. To him, it was a game.
How are you coming up with this?
Because he's stalking his mom, like secretly, I'm gonna get you with this gun. Like, what?
Or I'm actually meaning to kill you because I'm a batshit crazy person. It's like really? So you really think this was a video game? And he was playing, what do you call it?
Have you seen
Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
You've seen some of these video games.
She apparently haven't.
The son admitted to knowing what the gun would do to her. He had a history of harming animals for fun. No, it wasn't a game. He stopped like a sniper. So
Exactly.
Oh.
Have you seen these video games?
Apparently not.
Apparently not. I'll tell you this. When I just went to the mall with my son, one of his friends wanted to buy a video game. Nowadays, the video games, you have to have a parent with you to buy them. Because they're very realistic and they're very
Gory.
Yeah. I told the kid to have his parents call because I was at the mall with my son and his group of friends. It was the kid of no color that wanted to buy the game, of course. And I was like, you need to call your parents. And he called his dad, and I had him put him on speakerphone. And he did, and his dad was okay with him buying it. And I was like, okay. It was like a Call of Duty game, but it was a different game. But yeah, it's all about pew-pewing and toe tagging people. And get those virtual reality guns and the thing, and you're literally in
In the movie, right?
You're there. And it detaches you from any empathy.
Responsibility or a moral compass.
It's not even just,
I think if that were the case, there would be a whole lot more
consequences.
kids toe tagging their parents if that were the case, because there's tons.
There
of
are a
people,
bunch.
there are tons. No, I know.
They just don't put it on.
You know how many kids?
Unless
Look,
they're
do you
full color?
Do you know how many kids play video games?
there is
Like
a lot.
you can literally do it. Like the amount of kids and the amount of screen time they have on these video games, you would have some ongoing slaughtering.
Playing these are different. Look it up. Just because it doesn't happen to all kids doesn't mean that there isn't a rising amount of kids that are doing this. There is, and you're going to see more. And you can argue it, or you can look it up and look up the statistics and look up the graph that's going up and up and up and up. There is. Anyways, let's do you guys want to go over this Balenciaga?
Look, that shit legitimately.
Let's get on
scares
to a
me.
different kind of violence toward children.
That legitimately creeps me out. Like literally, it makes me feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone, because this is actually a real life situation, and these sickos are like, could you be any more depraved? It really it bothers my soul that people are doing this. It really does.
Yeah, when
And I usually don't care about things, but this really is like unbelievable. And it's, you wouldn't think it's unbelievable because of the Vatican and because you think that, you know, this is just a whole sector of folks that just, they're into this. But like it's the fact that people are so bold-faced with it and can actually, some of the imagery that I've seen, and this is on Instagram. And look, I couldn't put certain pictures on Instagram that I wanted to put that I thought were quite artistic, but this can be put on the things that I've seen on Instagram. I'm like, wow, okay, so
yeah, this is the safe stuff. And actually, when I first saw this, because this is what I showed.
And I don't even think that's safe. I don't even think that's safe. I get what you mean. Yeah.
And I would have never, ever, if I was like, oh, let's shoot some bondage, or even some like this one looks more like like emo style.
Right.
And so when I showed Ella this one, she was like, okay, well, you know, that looks more emo. But it was like, okay, but even if it's emo, why would you put a little child
On a bed?
Britt, can you zoom in on that image of that bear? Could you zoom in on that? Because
yeah,
because I want to see the top that's wearing. Because is that a mesh?
it's a mesh top. What a
that would take, for me, what I'm seeing, that's more bondage than emo. That's bondage.
Well, it's kind of emo, really. But this one is definitely 100%, no doubt, bondage.
Mhm.
Like no question, no doubt, 100%. I don't, and this is
That's just the
the
tip of the iceberg.
Oh,
Like, this is-
Sin said you have to do major coded language to talk about this. So, but I feel like we already we taken it to a point where we can't really talk about like this whole live. I feel like I wouldn't even bother editing it out, to be honest. I'm just saying I wouldn't. But if you think it's if you think it can pass on there, sure.
Most of the stuff we're fine about. But I think we definitely have to tread very lightly on this. But yeah, I definitely think it was very inappropriate, and having a young child, it was a no-go for me.
there's other things in that picture that you're not seeing, like the empty wine glasses, a lot of the literature.
Yeah, I saw some horrific stuff, but let's talk about what celebrities are still like on board with this.
For me, Cardi B, I'm a bit.
Do you think people should? And it sounds crazy. Do you to even ask this? But do you think it's logical? I'll say. Do you think it's not logical? Because like I said, there's logic and then there's reality. That because Cardi is doing what I would literally expect celebrities to do, which is just to ignore it and just collect their dimes like they're like, who cares? Or I didn't see it. Not who cares. I should change it. I don't see it. I therefore don't have to respond to it. And I think that's
just like
I think that's the approach that Cardi is
saying they
taking.
don't see color.
She sees it, and I feel like she got addressed about it. And even people were talking about like even your billboards, because she has this giant billboard. I think she has one in Paris, and I think there's one in LA, but I'm not sure exactly where they're placed. But
legally, could she really do anything about a billboard anyway? Because I mean, once she took the photo, they usually have contracts on them, and they're it's no longer your photo.
Because of the backlash that they're getting, she actually can't get. They can
out of the contract. You probably figure out. I mean, I'm sure there's some legal loopholes that she can look into. I mean, if it was not important.
Because they went on a public campaign. Balenciaga actually went on publicly apologizing and stuff about their ads and saying that, you know, that they apologize for it being inappropriate and blah, 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 you know, a bunch of legal.
And they had no idea. Mostly they had no idea.
Of course they had no idea. No whatsoever.
They're just as shocked and appalled as we are.
Oh, even more so. More so. Like, they feel tricked by the public.
Well, you also understand that these celebrities are making millions from their ad and their associations with these organizations, or with these
well, yeah, she's
fashion brand or whatever. So some of them are looking at this is just a moment in time. People won't be talking about it much longer. Am I going to lose out on millions of dollars for something that's only going to be talked about for 10 days max? Is it worth it?
And then it's going to get swept under the rug.
And continue on happening. It's not going to stop anyone from doing anything. The only thing that's going to stop really is me from getting paid. That's how I think most of them are looking at it. And that's how she's moving the way she is. Like,
and the thing is, I think she's right, because I mean, with all of these big name companies, with the Black community, you shouldn't be supporting them anyway. If you looked into the background of all of these, you can put a basket and pull out any name and look in their history, and no black person should be wearing any of these designers, not one of them. So like, if you're Black and you're supporting any of these designers, then shame on you. to be
But I
honest.
feel like this is the issue with that. I mean, it's not, isn't, well, they don't see it as an issue, but the issue I have with it is like, but for some reason, Black people feel like they're not validated or they haven't reached a level unless they are repping things that white people do. So their value comes from sporting these name brands. So this is where they've made it. When you will hear them, putting in their name brands and their lyrics and stuff, that's when it's like, I truly made it because I get this fabric with this white person's name on it, and that's made me. It's like, it's like, really? But that's what their value is. The value is literally that name. It doesn't matter how immoral it is. It doesn't matter how, it matters that this is connected to what they consider prestige. And that's a self-esteem issue. It really is, because it's like you have enough money at some point to where these type of names you're not going to back. It's like but it's like, because, and I guarantee you, if this was a Black owned name brand, everybody would have blacklisted. They were like, and I hate using that word, but they would have said, I'm not, no, I would have. That's when you can't, they will speak against it. But because they know that this is a white brand, is power behind it, and it's protected. And people will talk about it, they will get rah-rah about it, but at the end of the day, this will continue. Just like you see at the Vatican and the Pope and all this, it's going to continue. People will talk about it, they'll act outraged, but it is the reason why these brands are as popular as they are, is because people buy into them. It's because people subscribe to them. It's because people know what they know and they don't care. They just, it's worth it for them.
Well, do you think the fact that it's like a deity, like the god Baal or whatever his name is, do you think the fact that it is a biblical or a theorized entity that these people are sacrificing per se children to, do you think that is a reason why it will just blow over? Because a lot of people don't believe in that, so they're just, they won't believe that that's happening, even though it's in front of their faces.
No, because that's not even the main issue. I think it's that's not what they're getting in trouble for. There was the
well, it's the reason for what allegedly, or the reason for what they're doing.
Yeah, but it's not the reason why they got in trouble. So I don't think that anyone is really, that's not why they apologize. That's not why people, that's not why they made the news or anything like that. That's not why anyone even called any attention to their ads. It wasn't really about the, I don't say superstition or that. So no, I don't think that it's like, oh, we don't believe this. I think it's more of what Onyx said. The fact that it's a big name brand, that it is gonna blow over. And I kind of wish that Cardi B.
No, my question was about it blowing over.
No, I don't think that's
the reason for what it is, the reason that they're doing it for. Do you think that is why it will blow over so quickly?
No, I don't think it will matter. I don't think that matters at all to them. I think it is the reason why.
Well, because the R. Kelly thing didn't just blow over.
But that was different though. That was a total different thing.
Ladies, I mean,
can I say what I'm saying?
The whole company doing victimizing.
I know, but can I say what I'm saying? That was a different thing. Those are actual real children and people that filed court charges. This is not that.
Oh, you mean because we don't have anyone coming forward saying this stuff actually happened to me? It's mostly about the.
It's because they're saying this is artistic expression,
right?
And for the brand.
That people like Cardi B would just come out and say, what Onyx is saying, that this is just something that's gonna blow over. So why would I miss out on millions of dollars because you guys are going through this little fad. Because she's right. Like Black, especially with the Black community is going to wear these name brands because it's a status symbol. As soon as you get $100 in your purse, you're gonna run to a store and go buy something with a person of no color's name on it. So I would just stand up and I would say that's what you're gonna do. So I'm gonna get my money. And it's like, that's what she says anyway. So I don't know why she doesn't just stand out and say that.
Because Balenciaga is probably saying she can't. But I have to leave soon. So can I just like switch the topic real quick?
Yes, please.
Okay, because it's holidays, and I know you do not participate, but let's pretend like you do. So
I like lights, and I like how Macy's and this is not a plug for Macy's, so let's just get that out there.
I miss Macy's.
Macy's is always super bright. You know how they are.
Yeah, they have good lighting.
Perfect lighting. So
and they have mirrors, a lot of mirrors too.
Lots of mirrors and lots of bright lights. So that's one thing I like about. And I always think about Macy's for the holidays because then they have even brighter. And I was just walking in Bloomingdale's. Bloomingdale's is bright too. And they have all these shiny dresses. Okay, I won't stop.
No, it's making me feel all festive. And I like it when people talk about festive because you guys don't.
They have more stuff. Oh, and they have these trees, but they weren't like Christmas trees. They're just like regular trees. And they have some that were white and they just had lights all up them. Oh, they're so pretty. They didn't even have leaves on them. They're just like trees without leaves. So just the branches. And oh, they're so pretty. So they were doing it. I was like, okay. And then they had all these dresses with sequences. And I was like, love some
I do not like wearing sequins. It hurts my skin.
It's so pretty.
It's pretty, but it's not comfortable.
They were on the inside there.
They don't make a tie.
I know, but like if your arm, if you like.
Oh,
yeah.
They're pretty to look at. And right. We were going, how you're going to the bathroom, but you just stop so many times because there's so much shiny stuff. You just like, yeah, me and this girl were up because we just went for coffee. But it's like by the time it takes you like 10 minutes just to get to the bathroom because everything's so shiny and bright and pretty. So yeah.
Right. So what I was going to say is I wanted to bring up because holidays are about families and for a lot of people, and there's always like these big gatherings and family dinners, but oftentimes holidays are often a time where there's a lot of conflict. People get very stressed. So there's a lot of tension on relationships. And so I wanted to get you ladies' opinion on common scenarios that happen around the holidays where there's relationships. So if you're in a relationship with someone, this is obviously hypothetical for you all, but I'm speaking from this is a common issue. And I don't mean it in shade wise. I'm saying, let me just set up a scenario. Like you're in a relationship with someone, you classify it however you want. And you've got most families decide, or couples, they go to see someone's family, whether it's the one of the partner's families, you're doing the Christmas dinner at. Most people plan that, and most people are going to family visits, but there's often sometimes a big conflict or some stress going on. Do you think it's right where for a parent there's an argument or a confrontation to decide at the last minute not to bring the children and go to the agreed family dinner, or do you think is you put stuff all your emotions inside and eat them and go to the family dinner anyway? Or do you think it's okay to just say, well, I'm not talking to you right now because I'm mad and I'm not going to this family dinner, and the kids ain't going either. You go by yourself.
I think
okay. Like in those situations, because it's come up a few times and then
I'm gonna say it depends on what your relationship with the family is, because if I don't have a good relationship with my partner's family, then I'm not gonna go there. And I'm not going to send my child there. If I have a good relationship with the parent,
but that,
can I finish? With my partner's parents, and I know how they interact with my child, and I feel safe with their interactions with my child. I know that they're loving with my child. I know that they're patient with my child, and I know that like their individual relationship with my child is positive and safe. Then I will let my partner take my kid there without me.
and what if the partner says, I don't want you coming, I just want to take my children, and you can stay your ass at home. Because I don't want you around my family anyway. What if that happens? Then what do you do? And I say this because oftentimes when there's conflict in relationships, the guy dictates how his family sees you.
No one
typically
ever dictates where I go.
What?
No one ever dictates.
I didn't say. I said the male dictates to his family.
Yeah, for me, the male would not dictate whether I go to his family's place or not. I would.
I'm saying their disposition and attitude towards you is what I mean.
Yeah. Even if he said you stay here and you don't go to my family's house, I don't care what he's saying.
So you're still gonna go to that Christmas, that family dinner?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Unless his parents call me and say I can't come to their house. And at that point, me and my kid are moving away from them.
Hold on, let me rewind it then. So you guys get into an argument right before you have the plans, and then he says he doesn't want you showing up, and the kids are going. You say I'm showing up anyway, yes. Unless the parents say absolutely. I don't want you to. I'd rather you not show up.
Absolutely.
And what if they say I'd rather you not show up because we don't want any drama?
I'll say then clearly we're not family like I thought we were. So y'all just said we're not family, so we're not a family.
So me and my kids aren't coming.
Yeah. Because at that point you're alienating me from the family situation. Either we're family. Yeah, then we're not family, so me and my kid are moving far away from all of y'all because that's a hostile situation.
Wait.
For me to be in. Next, I'm gonna be dead.
Oh my God, you are so dramatic.
No, I'm cool.
So because
yeah, that's a whole.
That's a big jump. Hold on,
you can trust that situation. I'm not gonna trust that situation. I'm gonna be sitting around to wait to see what the next.
Let me pump the brakes. So I'm not gonna laugh. So you're saying if there's an argument, the person said, and the family says, because there's strife between you guys, I'd rather you not show up because I don't want drama. And your takeaway from that is you're gonna be dead next.
I'm gonna trust them to keep her alive.
Because they're telling me that I'm not part of the family. I need to stay home. My children are part of their family. My partner is part of their family. And they want to have a holiday without me. So, I'm going to just tell you that would never be my situation. Nobody in that family would feel safe for that to be my situation.
Okay.
Never. I knew that.
I think that's good that she doesn't celebrate Christmas.
Okay, for me in that situation, so I'm with
both
this
of them.
guy.
You have to look at. I'm sorry, but I just want to clarify both situations. So you speak to both. One where you're there's the argument, and he doesn't want you you showing up to the family dinner anymore last minute, but he wants the children to go. And then I'll give you the next one.
Okay, so it depends. So if he and I are arguing, so we were planning on going, I'm all dressed up and I look good. And then we just got into an argument. And then he's like, oh, you're not going to my family's anymore. Just the kids and I are going. And we dressed up and I look good. He not gonna trust that because he knows for sure that I'm going out with somebody and it's gonna be a dude and I'm gonna be out there looking good with me and another dude. So if he really wants to cultivate a relationship and try to have that to be a relationship, if he wanted to be over, we're done, then he would, just be like, okay, me and my kids, okay, because he could take them kids and I can move on about my life.
Take them kids.
He can take him and them kids and his family and bye. Or we can act like we got some sense and go and have this dinner together like a family and then worry about our issues when we get back.
But what if you're not dressed up and this didn't happen on the day, it happened a few days?
Then he better fix things before the issue. I mean, honestly. It's all or nothing with me. It's all or nothing with me.
Okay, I forgot the other scenario, but I tried to bring forward because these are very common scenarios in family dynamics.
Right.
And so that's why I wanted.
The family doesn't want her there too.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
his family doesn't want me there. Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't want you bringing drama to the table.
So they told me this, or he told me they said that.
He told you. He definitely told you.
Oh, I'm gonna have to hear from their mouths. I'm sure.
They'll text you. They'll send you a text message. Then they text you and ask you
based on
what he said. Based on what he said.
FaceTime.
Based on what he said, they just want.
And I'm like, oh, I got this text message and it's confusing. I'm gonna call them on FaceTime, or I would show up and be like, what is this message? Like, I don't understand. And then, and then if they say, yeah, no, we just really think that you shouldn't come, then we would definitely have to discuss that because, I'm a very, I agree with communication. I think everything can be talked through. And before I make any rash decisions, I want to, talk things through. And I need her to tell me, or him, whoever decided that we weren't going. I need them to know the consequences of choosing to
isolate
me and try to single me out and have me not be involved in their family thing, because me and my children are a package deal. I'd be like, unless my husband, which is their kid, if she wants to just move him into their house and take him and their grandkids, and I just have me in my house and be, a free single woman without any children, then yeah, we could do that too. Okay. So conversations, there's been conversations that have to be had.
So from both of you, I got, if you're experiencing these type of situations, or if you have had this dynamic, communication, and also it sounds like it's a pivotal point in a relationship where you need to evaluate whether or not you're in the right relationship, because whether the person has problem solving skills, if they're willing to isolate you, or you're willing to, if you don't want to go, because the other scenario was you don't want to go, you just say, I'm not going and my kids aren't going. Anyway, so
right. I think if you're a family, then you should be able to work things through. And if you're planning on being a family, then you should be able to work things through. And for me to just say, no, I'm not going, that's immature. And so figure it out and make it work, or just move the F on and but being like, I'm not going to this family event, but we've been doing this because this is our tradition. This is important to us. But I'm gonna not, grow the hell up.
And my kids, yeah, because I'm not sending my kids somewhere that I'm not.
Right. Because the kids are gonna be like, how come mommy's not here?
You ladies will be very surprised on some of the threads that I've read in those scenarios. It's always, you can leave the kids there because you're not, it's his family, and the kids have a right to be with that family, and he has a right to have his kids.
He can have them kids
without you being there. There's so many different pretty much
do it right or don't do it at all.
Huh?
Do it right or don't do it at all.
Well,
Like,
Right, to not, no, they're not planning to kill me and keep my
oh,
kid.
why did you say kill her?
That builds up. You can't isolate one person. Like if I have a husband, I'm not gonna say, because I don't even, my son said,
Look, these day and age people aren't married because you're saying husband, but it's like the majority of people in
oh,
these
so you mean
scenarios
baby's
are
daddy,
not
baby's daddy, and
married.
these kids.
so my son's father, he could not come to any event that my son is at, even though I cannot stand him. Have I ever told him he couldn't come to an event?
No, because that's
No.
trifling.
No. Because you just don't do that. You because it's not about me,
Right, exactly.
the child. So if his family is gonna sit there and make it about them, then that's a problem.
And then they're gonna tell you because we don't want any drama.
Then tell your kid not to be, then check your child.
Right.
Don't cause any drama. You raised your child. You raised your child. So tell your child not to cause any drama. I'm good.
To be on his best behavior before you get kicked down some stairs.
Exactly. It's like, I'm good. I don't need, that's what I'm saying. My relationship with them should be good enough where I know them. I can talk to them. I'm good with them. Why is there, I don't even need to acknowledge your son's existence. Oh, I'm eating.
Right?
Where's
Exactly.
like, where's the
Who
stuff?
made this macaroni and cheese, huh?
Exactly. Please tell me y'all didn't make it in the sink. Why did I see somebody making this macaroni and cheese in the sink? So I mean, y'all
Wait,
watch
wait,
it.
wait, what do you mean? How did they make macaroni and cheese in the sink?
Girl, he literally poured the noodles in the sink, poured some milk in the sink, poured the cheese in the sink. I said, I've never.
And then how did he cook it? He scooped it out and put it in a pan and then like oven it or something? Like, I'm confused.
And you are ruining one of my favorite dishes just by me hearing this.
She didn't even watch it. She didn't finish watching it. She was just freaked out. And she's like,
He cooked the noodles, poured the noodles in the sink and drank them. And then he kept adding the ingredients into the sink. I don't know. He's a person of no color.
I don't know how he cooked them. Like,
he ended it after he mixed everything. So I'm
you start
guessing
eating it?
the video ended.
Oh, wow. What a weirdo.
I was just sitting there like stunned. I think I sat there for a couple of minutes staring at the blanket.
Just confused, just blinking, huh? Just like, can something else happen? Like, I don't get it. Like, why?
Clean food in the sink. I've never drained any, like you would get a strainer.
Right. The colander. Put that in the colander, yeah, and save a little noodle water. Like,
say noodle water?
No, he was
hot water.
in the sink. And I think my throat started to close up. Why is he doing this? Talking about it's time for his son to learn how to make the macaroni and cheese.
So he need to learn how to make it.
Sir, you're making it in the sink.
Right. Oh no.
You know, so you got a lot of stuff to ask the family members.
Right.
You watch that phone, you know, are you putting the right amount of salt? If, you know,
that's why I like to go to the event while cooking is still taking place because
I don't. Oh no.
I do. You know, I'm a micromanager when it comes to cooking.
Yeah, you are. Ella wants to take over.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. And that's what I was gonna say. You actually like to cook. That's why.
Yeah, I was like, no, we need to make sure everything tastes good. And
we should do a virtual cook-off. Do you guys want to do a virtual cook-off?
I should go to Ethan's.
I'm thinking we can do a virtual cook-off.
Ethan's grandparents.
Well, I don't think she's talking about right now, hon.
Obviously, I'm going to bed in a minute.
I like
you guys don't know, but I'm literally sitting here in my pajamas.
Nice.
Like, I'm going
we could
to
have had a pajama party.
No, it's like you guys are. You're playing around with different time zones, so it's like I'm tired.
Yeah, it's still daytime for me.
When I
it's 12:31 a.m.
Christmas parties and stuff, I want when everything was done. I was like, let's go when everything's done. I just come straight in and eat.
I can't because I don't. I mean, I don't eat everybody's food, and unless maybe I have to come in with some vegeta and just like sprinkle some on there or something.
Oh, I'm almost
But then
out
they'll
of
be
that.
offended if I come in and start seasoning things, like start tasting. Just come in and start tasting the pie, just seasoning it. It's like, nah, this is a little bit. I mean, that's a good idea. I could do that, but sometimes they be putting like nutmeg and the macaroni and cheese and stuff.
What?
Like, yes, people do that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's questionable food and you just gotta not eat that. I just don't eat it.
I
I
think
mean, then if
everything-
they screwed up all the macaroni and cheese, then how are you gonna have any macaroni and cheese? So that's why you come in and supervise.
I don't like baked macaroni
See,
and
this
cheese.
is what makes me hate the holidays and when I'm not able to be around to eat everybody's delicious food. It's like, because you have, the family members who like do all the cooking and have like Cynthia and Ella, and then you have, Mimi, and then it's like they're all really good cooks.
Like, and
and
I
I usually just come in with my plate and a fork, and it's like heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now you wouldn't like what I cook because I don't cook. Well, I cooked a turkey for Turkey Day for Ma and my guys because they like meat, but like I had a tofurkey for myself.
No, I'm trying to transition to not eat meat because I'm always hearing, the cows all have the flu
Cancer.
or some kind of nasty thing going on with them. And so it's like, I don't want to eat animals at all. I do eat them all the time. I always say that like, anyways, but I'm
But you
trying
don't
to
eat
move,
any sickly ones.
I'm just trying to move from that because Valerie looks like that when she sees me eating meat.
I'm about cows with the flu. I haven't
They
eaten.
did say that. They announced it.
I thought it was bird flu, not cow flu.
Anything can get the flu.
Eh,
I'm
okay.
not. I'm sitting here arguing with my child talking about I've eaten, taking a bite out of his steak. Like that's I haven't.
That was his text. So my son told me that my relationship views are of the 1920s. White women.
A woman of no color from the 1920s.
Yes, he said my relationship views are for women of no color in the 1920s. And I told him that I do have traditional relationship views where I believe that the guy should be the head of the household and a provider and protector. However, white women didn't want that. They wanted to be able to work. Black women were already working, sweetie. like those were like, yeah, those were your servants and your maids and your cooks, and like black women were already working. So no, I don't have a 20th women of no color relationship desires, by no means, but I guess I mean I don't have a.
What is he basing that off?
His history class.
Oh.
He just had a little history class, and then he just wanted to poke some of that at me. But he didn't follow up with anything after I told him, that was very inaccurate.
Yeah, like give you an example is what I mean. So.
Right. Yeah, like after I told him that, he just sat there quietly and didn't argue. Which is kind of bizarre for him because he likes to fight. He's a crap core.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that he understood, but yeah, I think I definitely have an old-fashioned way, a traditional way of, and I guess American traditional, but it's kind of like a lot of different cultures have the same. So it's kind of traditional, where the guy is the head of the household type. Male-led household.
Yeah, you just need to qualify. I feel like these days.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like everybody. I feel like the majority of Black women have that attitude, but not in practice. So they'll say that, but the men don't have to like do anything.
Exactly.
They don't have to do anything.
Well, no,
to
and
qualify
that's
for
when
that.
they become abusive relationships because the guy will expect you to be submissive. Like if you're a submissive person, you start out being submissive, and then you realize that the guy's not qualified, and so all of a sudden you're not respecting him, and so you're not submitting to him, and then he starts beating you. So, like.
Well, because if you're not, and that's the thing that's really weird, especially with these like red pill and podcast dudes that are talking about, oh, we want feminine, submissive, go 50-50. And it's like, so yeah, that doesn't make any sense because you can't want feminine, submissive, work full time, bring home all the bacon, and then come home and submit to you. Because where does your masculinity come into play? Like, where is it?
Right. There was this little sketch that made like perfect sense the way he broke it down. I posted it on Sister Talk on our Facebook page, and it was like this guy was saying like American dudes. He said American guys. He didn't, because I normally tend to try to date guys that are foreign because they do have more of a traditional way about them. And he was just like, you American dudes. He was like, y'all are disgusting. He was like, y'all are expecting, a woman to submit, and but y'all also expect her to provide 50%, 50. He was like, y'all be asking her like what she bring into the table. He was like, this is absurdity. He was like, how are you going to expect her to bring something to the table and then also submit to you as well? He was just like, if she's bringing stuff to the table, she got her own job, she's taking care of herself, why would she have you be her boss? Like, why is she submitting to you? He's like, that puts her on the same level as you. And it's like, if she's on the same level as you, why would she submit to you? That's like me and you are coworkers, and you telling me what to do. I'm be like, fuck you, bruh. Like, my manager telling me what to do, but not you, because we're on the same level. And that's how it is when guys that are out there wanting 50-50 relationships where a woman is providing half of the income, paying half of the bills and everything, but they're still expecting her to be submissive and do all the household chores and wanting to stuff, because it's like, and also do what he says. It's like you're asking for more than 50%.
Security. Like, I'm providing my own security, my own financial security, my own like everything. But you want me? Why am I? What?
Like, right, you're not qualified. You're being my coworker, not my supervisor. So why am I submitting to you?
But so many people stay in these relationships, they really do, for so long. And it's crazy and it's surprising. It's like, I find that when women do this, play this game, because that's what it really is. And I don't know well, there's a number of theories of why they continue on when it's just like not benefiting them. And they do find that it is like just too much stress, because when you overwork, when you're put in a position to be masculine, and expect it to be feminine, because I feel like when women take on this, when women take on this, when women, oh my gosh, I can't even finish my statement.
I know, because I loved how you said that. When you're put in a position,
that's what he said. Exactly.
Expected to be feminine.
Right. Mm-hmm. So if I can finish. So when women have this idea that men should be the head of the household, and they put them in that position without even qualifying them first, what they find themselves trying to do is they are doing everything, because men are not really, they're not qualifying for the position of head of household. And what I mean by that is the leader. They're not showing leadership skills. They're not helping the house run smoothly. They're not doing the gender roles, because when you say head of household, that is assigning gender roles essentially, and then you do this part and I do that part. What's happening instead is women are doing everything, and then it being expected to be feminine. And instead it's like, feminine, in my opinion, is when you can be the softer person. You can give reason, you can give comfort, you can be the person to listen to the guy when they come in and they want to like share all of this is how the stresses of my day, and talk the politics of what they had to go through in life. This is where she can listen and be that ear and be that comfort and support, and provide the home that is warm and clean and comfortable, and have, he comes home and there's dinner and everything provided and all his worries are away because he's at home. That's, the feminine energy. And she has time to take care of herself. So she looks good, she smells great and everything. And so when he goes home, it's like heaven, because he's taking care of the bills, he's taking care of all the other stuff. So all she has, that's her job, is taking care of the home and him. But instead what you find is he's not doing anything but serving his needs and wanting her to go and take care of her bills, take care of the household, take care of everything, including him, and then somehow harness or find the space to center herself, take care of herself, and be at peace with the chaos that he's bringing into the relationship. And so what you find is the woman is overworked, she's overstressed, she's tense, she is having to deal with all kinds of nonsense at work and has no time for herself. So the 10 minutes that she does have is fast food, not like a nice home cooked meal like she would provide him, or she doesn't have time to even provide that for herself. And then you find the women, I think, end up looking like what the guy deserves. And then he's like, oh, she's out of overweight, she doesn't look like this, she looked like this when I met her and now she looks like this. Well, why did she look like this before she didn't have you in her life? Before you weren't stressing her
right, she was only taking care of herself, not you.
Had to take care of herself, but now she's taking care of you and taking on all your drama and nonsense. And this is what she looks like, because it's like, this is the aftermath of having to deal with someone who isn't qualified to be held in position as man of household or masculine. I don't think these guys should be considered masculine because they're not holding up a masculine role in society. It's just when you're just taking care, you're just taking from everyone in society. You're taking from the women that you're around. You're taking, and you have this attitude of people are disposable, or relationships are disposable. Because I'll just move on to the next. You're a succubus. And any woman that you are with for a long period of time, that's why I tell people, well, I see what this relationship looks like a year from now. Most guys don't know how to relationship. So those relationships don't really last. You're not going to have a quality relationship because you don't know how to relationship. So yeah, you can go from woman to woman to woman, and then it's like they're all stressed out and everything. It's because they just need to get rid of you.
And then they want to get the woman pregnant, and then like, now you're unmarried pregnant woman.
Right.
Well, yeah, because you didn't marry her before you just got her pregnant.
Right. Exactly.
No integrity.
Does that have any, like, sir, does that have anything to do with you? No, that's
right. So they didn't take your sperm, sir. Was your sperm involved at all in impregnating this lady? Do you think you could have had any part in marrying her or making her unwed mother?
We ain't got nothing to do with all unwed Black women running around. Sarah, did she get herself pregnant, or was that you these last? We have you on recording these last 10 months. In relationship with her. And now she's pregnant. Do you think that has any correlation?
No. Since Black women believe that men should be leaders because they are male, and that's true. We do believe they should be leaders because they're male. I do feel like males in general should be leaders, but and Blacks in a society where where there's Black relationships, it is the perception. And not the requirement. Like we are considering them as the leaders without any kind of qualifiers. And I think that's a mistake. Yeah, we automatically look at men to be leaders. I think that's a normal response for any woman, just to look at a man for leadership. But the mistake is, and I'm guilty of this because I found this in a relationship that I was in. It's like you see a man doing well in their job and their career choices, and you expect to see that same leadership in their home environment, right? If you're in a relationship with them, you would think that someone who's this successful should be able to lead a relationship. And I say lead is like you should be able to communicate well. You should be able to communicate, have some emotional intelligence. You should know how to progress a relationship. You should know what to expect in a relationship. They don't have that. Like, and I find that in Black, and it's because you look at the quality of the relationships that they're in, and it's like, how have you been in? Because for me, I feel like if you've been in 3 relationships, you should have learned enough skills in those relationships to kind of anticipate what's okay to do, what isn't okay to do. And if you haven't done that, then you shouldn't be in relationships. So, but you will see guys been in, I've been in this many relationships, and it's like, okay, then, and you got a good career. So you probably have, at a certain age, obtained some skills to manage a relationship properly. But that's not what's happening in society at all. It really isn't. So.
No, they have the skills to impregnate women, have babies that they're not going to take care of.
Yeah, so I'm just saying Black women need to lose this idea that just because it's a man, then, he's a leader, or that he qualifies and he's ordained for that leadership, that position in the relationship. Like if you're a better leader, then you're leading that relationship. And if he's not okay with that, then it's like, you need to look at what that relationship is going to look like, because it's going to impact you in the short run and in the long run, but more in the long run, because I feel like guys know how to put on good behavior for a particular time frame, and then
Wait, so I don't know, because I was literally in the dating, because I'm currently single, so I was on this dating app, right? And I think I told you ladies about it this morning. And this guy, he's in Canada. He said he's going to come and he wants to go on a date with me. And he asked me, some things I would like to do. And I was like, well, we could go, out to like dinner, and we can go out to like, what I say, we can go to like a comedy club, or we can go for like a nature walk, and then out to dinner or something, or we can go have cocktails and karaoke, or we can go cocktails and date and then dancing or whatever. And I was like, but or we you can decide something. I like to try new things, so do you have any suggestions? And he was like, how about a foot massage? And then I'm like, so like a pedicure? And then he's like, a foot massage. And I'm just like, so like, in what capacity do we think we're going to find a scenario that's going to be appropriate for us upon meeting for you to be giving me a foot massage? I haven't gotten a response yet, but I think there's like some really crazy ish going on out there, that guys are just like being extremely trifling and emboldened to just it's like, what in the world? Like, what? No.
And I blame women for this, because look, somebody sat down with him and made him feel like this was an okay thing, like this is possible and it's feasible and it's normal. Because otherwise, would he be that emboldened? Would he be like, my expectation is this, and I'm going to pitch this, and it's likely to happen? This seems right to me. And somebody gave him that impression.
Yeah, that sounds weird. It's like, bro, you are a creep, like straight up creep. Like, I want to know, like, under what circumstance that he thinks that it's gonna be appropriate for him to be giving me a foot massage upon us first meeting. Like,
look, I'm telling you, foot fetishes are on the rise. I don't know.
Like, yeah, but I want to know the situation. Like, he need to tell me something, because like, tell me something.
I don't know. Like, I can imagine a guy thinking that it's appropriate to ask somebody to give them a foot massage when he's never met her. These dudes are insane, inappropriate. to say a foot massage when she already gave him a list of appropriate meeting situations. Like I just gave you a list of things that I find appropriate, and then you come out with one that is very inappropriate. Like you're disgusting.
It's like, I'll stick my toe in your eye. How about that?
He'll probably like it. He will probably be like, oh yeah, I find that, but that's good. That's a good compromise.
You're like, yeah, do that. It's freaking weird. I'm just like, I really need to know, like, what, under what circumstances, like, give me a scenario. Like, seriously, give me a scenario where this is going to be appropriate. They don't exist. Yeah. Weirdness. Have y'all had any creepy, weird dating situations besides Onyx and her guy expecting her to been off of the dating site after they?
That wasn't my guy. That was some random dude that was hot.
Right. He
and I
assumed
said,
that
okay,
he was your
like,
guy and you were his.
You were Cancer. Look, he was. I don't even deal with cancers, but he was, and so he was a Cancer. And I was like, no. But then there was two qualifiers that I said, okay, I'll work with the fact that he's a Cancer. He was an attorney, and that means to me he has ability to critical think and to problem solve and to debate without being just being too overwhelmed or thinking someone's being aggressive with them or so he's not bothered by someone having an opinion. And then he was very attractive, so he turned out to be a nut drop, so I never even met him.
But he was clearly crazy.
Yeah. And that's what I said. This dude was unhinged. And then I went and checked, and then he was like a criminal defense attorney. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I was like, I deal with your victims on a regular basis. This is probably is not a good match anyway. It's like, you criminal-minded fool. No, he was crazy as hell. But I do feel like I've had too many dudes.
Right.
Yeah. Too many guys lately have this foot fetish thing. And so it's like, and why do they tell you too early on? It's like, you seem normal at first, and I was going to find, like, it's really difficult to find any guy that's normal or have critical thinking skills or the capacity to hold a conversation or just like the basics. So it's really difficult. But I came across this guy who, we had some banter going back and forth, but it's like, then he was talking about his foot fetish, and it's like, what is with these? You don't tell about.
See, the thing is,
I like you disclose like early on,
kink.
So it's on the rise.
Right, okay. I like a good kink, and I think that no one should be kink shamed. I mean, if R. Kelly would have found people, he could have found people that were down for the stuff that he was doing. So any of that stuff he was doing, he could have found someone that would have happily enjoyed everything that he did, but he wouldn't victimize someone.
Look,
and that was the problem. And so I don't believe in kink shaming people, but say what your kink is, and so that you won't waste time if it freaks somebody out in dating.
I feel like you shouldn't bring certain things on too soon. Like, if you haven't met anyone first, don't talk about a fetish. I really think it's not smart to introduce any fetish if you have not met with a person first. It just doesn't make sense. Certain things you just don't disclose. I guess unless you, like, I'm not even going to waste my time with someone if they're not cool. Like, but I feel like in relationships, and that's been proven time and time again, a person will say, I'm not interested in this. It's not something that I will do or try, but then they love the person, they have a relationship with the person, and that relationship is cultivated. And then suddenly things can be introduced that the person normally wouldn't try because they feel safe with the person, because they feel confident with the person. Right. And so that relationship, the nature of the relationship has been nurtured where safety is there, confidence is there, trust is established, and so that opens you up into a whole level of wow and possibilities and areas of exploration that probably wouldn't have happened otherwise. But dudes these days want to be like, hi, this is my fetish, let's go and do this, and it's like, are you brain dead? I just don't understand it. I really say, you can't construct a sentence, but you think you should introduce a fetish. Like, you should tell me what your fetish is. Like, why does that make sense? Like, where do you not just get blocked from that? That don't make any sense to me. And I wonder, like, who are these guys engaging with, where they're getting this impression that this is not creepy,
right? It's
sloppy
like,
behavior.
and then I'm wondering, like, is this just like hookup culture, like where they're not really looking for a relationship, they're just looking to hook up. And so if you're looking to hook up and the only thing that gets you off is feet,
Right.
then you're gonna be more, you know, about getting them feet involved. You know, right away.
Okay.
No.
Well, it's been fun. Next time maybe we'll get some dating tips next time, or some conversation starters for guys, or what you can do to make yourself more dateable when you're approaching people online, or no, whatever venue you're using.
Appropriate time to introduce the kinks into.
Oh, I think we should do let's do next time, or probably in the future, a speed dating, where people can have a
virtual
a dialogue,
dating?
speed dating dialogues. It'd be like coaching, you know.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay.
You can look at some guys' profiles and make fun of them.
Okay. Oh, that's fun. We can totally do that. I'll find the most what do you call it?
Some conversations, because like I swear, if I look through some of mine, well, I'll show you guys are just like hi.
Right, how are you doing
I'm actually
today?
with hey. Hey.
And
Hey.
like, wait, I'm just saying something.
Hey is a big one too. That one is like really trending.
Yeah, hello. That's popular. Hello is popular as well.
Yeah.
It's trending though. I think hey is definitely the most trending.
Right.
Right. So anyway.
Okay, so yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you guys back
See you
on
next
Saturday.
time. Yeah.
Love you later. Bye.
Bye. Valerie has to